So I'm going to show you a video on the cover test procedure. And I'm going to talk you through this. So again, your patient's wearing the habitual correction, a good accommodative target, 1 to 2 lines larger than the patient's worst VA. You can also use your hand as an occluder if your patient's a child. Here's our target. We're going to perform the cover-uncover test first. Here's our patient. We're doing this test at distance first. So cover, uncover, no movement is noted. Again, we're switching to the left eye. Cover, uncover, at distance, no movement is noted. So now, because we didn't see any movement on the cover-uncover test, we're going to go to the alternating cover test. So cover 1, 2, 3, cover 1, 2, 3. This is the alternating cover test at distance. Again, no movements noted. Oh, maybe a slight movement there, but so very slight exophoria at distance. So we're going to be doing similar procedure, but at near now. So again, we're going to use an accommodative target at 40 centimeters with good illumination on the target. We're going to be doing the cover-uncover test first, and we see how the eye is moving in. That means it was out behind the occluder. We're going to do this on the left eye now. And also note how that eye is moving in, which means it was out behind the occluder. And this means that the patient has atropia, so they have an exotropia that is alternating because you see it in both the left and the right eyes. Cover-uncover test again. That eye is moving in. We're now going to be doing the alternating. And each eye is moving in on alternating. That means the eye is out behind the occluder. So she has a moderate to large exophoria. Now we're going to be doing the test with the patient's habitual correction. And if we note, on the cover-uncover test, there is now no movement of that right eye. And again, we're doing the cover-uncover test on the left eye, and there is no movement with habitual correction. And on alternating cover test, again, there's no movement with the patient's habitual correction. So this patient has an alternating exotropia uncorrected, which is fully corrected when they're wearing their appropriate glasses prescription. So when we're doing cover tests, we want to know the magnitude of the phoria or tropia, and we're going to neutralize this with prism. An easy way to think about this, how to measure it, the base is where the eye moves towards and the apex points to where the eye is in the foria position. And we're no longer going to see movement on alternating cover test when the deviation is neutralized. So say I have an exo, I'm going to hold my base in. I would alternate and keep moving up until I no longer saw any movement. We can also do this with the cover-uncover test to neutralize the foria atropia. Prism bars have base in for horizontal, and we also have prism bars with base up for any vertical deviations. So I highly encourage you to practice that. You can also use loose prism lenses. And so the amount of prism when there's no longer movement is going to equal the magnitude of the deviation. And just interpreting movement or thinking about movement, if the eye moves in to fixate, that means the eye was out, either foria atropia, that's an exo. We're going to measure that with base in. If the eye moves out to fixate, that means the eye was in. We use base out to measure. If the eye moves down to fixate, that means the eye was up or hyper. If, for example, this is in the right eye, we're going to be using a base down in that right eye to measure. On the opposite side, if the eye is moving up to fixate, that means the eye was down. For right eye, we would measure with base up in the right eye.